So Reborn Golf kind of came to be because I used to be a professional athlete as a baseball player. And then when that was over, I wanted to play golf. So as a social golfer, just playing regularly, kind of non-competitively, it got to a point where my competitive juices decided that I wanted to be better, and I didn't seek out any swing lessons or coaching. I just tried to do it on my own, as a lot of people do, saving money in the process. But at one point, I hit a plateau in my training where I couldn't get better by practicing. I had to incorporate fitness into the mix. And at that point is where I really found the distance, the smooth consistency that uh, leads to breaking 90, breaking 80. And that's pretty much how Reborn Golf came to be, is practicing for one sport and then understanding that it takes training to get better at any sport. So the vision of Reborn Golf, how it started, was this hybrid style training method where a client would receive swing lessons as well as personal training options that encompassed one full fundamental type of training to get better at golf specifically. Where what it evolved into was that I understood more than anybody that training the body for any sport, depending on how you're training for it, will improve your quality of life. So Reborn Golf's vision now is to help people and clients build a solid foundation for what they're trying to achieve, but understanding that you're going to get better at the sport you're training for, but you're also going to improve your quality of life at the exact same time. So it's a win-win situation. You're going to get better at the sport you're trying to play, as well as you're going to improve your quality of life through mobility, stability, flexibility, power, speed. Like they say, motion is lotion. So, the more you move, the more you're moving correctly, the better you're going to feel on a day to day. What separates Reborn Golf is that the experience of the coaching staff in swing lessons, as well as fitness and personal training, culminating together to create this foundational experience that will guarantee improvement. We make sure that the client understands that it is going to take time. I'm not going to ever ask somebody to come back week after week without telling them the long-term goal, without keeping them accountable and updated on what we're looking to do. So what differentiates us the most is the expectation and the accountability of ourselves to understand that we don't succeed unless the client does. And I think full transparency applies there. We're keeping integrity at the forefront of everything that we do, so that the client knows what to expect. There's a clear goal that's established between both people, and we're not just giving them content after thing to do without any sort of end goal in mind. So transparency, integrity, honesty, and then execution to make sure that we're doing the right things for the client. Integrating swing lessons and fitness is everything when it comes to golf training. I think, like I've said previously, once you get the body involved to be able to make the movements that you're trying to achieve in a swing lesson, that's when everything changes. You can start learning things to get to a basic instructional level. If you're trying to break 100 to get to 90s, you're going to be able to do that through just practice. You will not technically need to go through any fitness training to get to that level. But to break 90, to break 80, to break 70, that's going to take extensive training, especially to prevent injury along the way. As your swing improves, as your speed improves, as you play more often, the body undergoes toll after toll. So swing lessons are extremely important, definitely from an instructional level. But when you get into the competitive level and you start getting better, 70s, 60s, that's when training really comes into play. And they both go hand in hand to make sure that everything's working cohesively. If you're considering working with Reborn Golf, and of course myself, the first thing that we're going to do is just figure out where you're at on your journey. What are you shooting? How old are you? What your goals are, and how much time are you willing to dedicate, and how much time are you dedicating right now. The first thing I want to know is what's your practice schedule like, and what's your exercise schedule like, because I'm going to combine the two things so they're not separate anymore. We want to keep those things cohesive. So if you're considering a consultation with Reborn Golf, those are the first things I'm going to ask of you. And then the next thing I'm going to do is have you send in some swing videos so I can see what the swing looks like from a couple different angles. And what I want to do from that is just assess what I see off of my eyes. And then that's just from the swing coaching perspective. And then I'll transfer over to the fitness side, where we'll do a body assessment to see how those two things go hand in hand. What is the body doing that is not allowing you to do in the swing, and what is the swing doing that might be hiding some body factors. So we're going to combine the two, and from there I want to be transparent on how long it's going to take. So that's where I'm going to combine those two things to help you understand where we're going to make that goal of yours happen. And that's what it's like to join Reborn Golf. Like I said, I think technique is important when you are trying to go, just start out in the hundreds to get to the 90s. There's also a course management element in play where a certain strategy is going to help you shed strokes as well. We're talking long term. So when I bring up foundational movements and understanding how the body feels, it's much more important as a player to hit a bad shot and say, man, that just didn't feel right, as opposed to, I have no idea what I'm doing wrong. So having an understanding of how your body moves at that foundational level is really going to help you understand what's going on during a round of golf or even during a round of practice. The better understanding that we have there is how we make improvements long term, as well as staying away from injury. Knowing how your body feels, if you make that same movement and something just doesn't feel right, you're not going to do it again. So you're going to stay away from something that your body is warning you is making it hurt is a problem. So from a foundational standpoint, I preach it because it's going to keep you away from injury, and it's going to help you have a better understanding of what your body's telling you. I don't have any specific preference of who I like to work with. I do enjoy working with competitive golfers because they speak of the game from a unique perspective. I've never played professional golf, so I like hearing about what they say about the game and from a mental perspective, because it's at certain levels you're not it, it's not that you're uncoachable, but you have a different perspective from mental that is different. But I enjoy working with instructional because those light bulb moments where you really start to figure things out and you're making snowball improvements, one thing after another compound. It's very uplifting to see, as well as those other components from competitive athletes. So full spectrum, it's fantastic to watch all levels of improvement. I've been giving golf lessons for over 8 years now. I've seen thousands of golf swings, and there's two big success stories that come to mind, both on different time frames. One of them is a good friend now. He lives in Connecticut, so we've been doing remote training for over 6 years, and he just has constantly texted me and texted me and texted me all the things that are going on during a round or during practice. He just tells me exactly what's going on, and we formulate a plan to figure it out through training and through drills and exercises. And a lot of the stuff he's done from his living room, which is just epitomizes all the things that I preach, which I appreciate. But he has gone from probably shooting 115, 120 plus to just recently breaking 85. And it's taken a long time for him. Obviously, things happen, life happens. You're trying to work around all sorts of priorities. But I'm proud of him, and getting and breaking 80 is definitely next. On the other side of the spectrum, we have a client I've only been working with for barely 2 months who has not played a round of golf yet, but she has gone from completely missing the ball to hitting 70-yard sand wedge shots. And all through body movement. We've only been doing chipping in her yard, and I think that's, again, from that foundational standpoint, she's going from the ground up, and we're really making improvements very fast. Yeah, you have to commit to some sort of program, whether you know it or not. If you've been taking golf lessons for 3 years and you've gotten from low hundreds or high 90s to like mid 80s, high 80s, then in my personal opinion, I'd say that is time wasted. Um, those types of things can be done within 6 months, and the commitment level, if you realize how much time you actually do have to commit to these things, then it just gets easier. And the accountability piece is where that factors in. You need a coach that's going to give you the raw truth that there is time. We're going to find it, work around your schedule, and form your life to the things that you like to do. Make life about the passions that you have. If you enjoy golf, then let's start playing around with how do we figure out your spare times to get some sort of practice in that is also going to have a dual benefit of helping your overall health and wellness. How do we combine the two so you get better at golf and you get better at just general life in terms of movement? So to be set up for lasting success, you're getting better at golf, you're enjoying that part of it, but you're also achieving improvement in quality of life, posture, mobility, balance, all things that are extremely important for longevity. So I've said it before, but this is, the number one thing about being in the service industry is that I don't succeed unless the client succeeds. So I have not only a an absolute duty, but I have a responsibility to make sure that my clients achieve success before I'm able to promote success. I can't lie. That's part of the integrity piece and the transparency piece. So if my clients are not winning, if they're not achieving the things that they're out setting out to achieve with me, then I have no base to stand on. So for Reborn's future, one, it comes off the back of client success, and two, growth is just going to look like adding more trainers, adding more coaches to give swing lessons, and just expanding that process so that we have not only a physical location to promote the dual hybrid remote and in-person style, but to also have the ability to expand our client list so that more people can be helped, more testimony can be created, and Reborn Golf succeeds for the long term.